Hi everybody, this is Mr. Roche and we are in the Brown class and we are trying to get our um, character to show up, and we have what we have is we have a character class which we made with a whole lot of private variables we haven't used yet. It's a JPanel and it implements the action listener. We've got an array list to fill it up with a bunch of GIFs, GIF pictures. We have a constructor that allows you to take in a whole lot of information like an X and a Y coordinate, something to help open up the files for the pictures, tells you how many pictures are coming and a kind of a scale for it, which is great. We're going to have to write something to do a dx and a dy, and we have something to try to load the pictures. Okay. So we have this routine right here that's going to load a picture, which is great. That's really good. And we want to kind of move ahead with this to try to get the pictures to show. Okay, that's what we're trying to do right now. So, okay, we're basically going to just kind of paint them inside the J-frame, and then what we're going to do is we're going to move the J-frame around, and that all sounds good. But what we got to do is we got to get the pictures in. So, what's going on is that if you have been working with us, you have a bunch of pictures that will animate as we go. Okay, and what we did was we put them into a GIF splitter, and we've got a whole bunch of pictures here like this, and each one has this special file name. So frame is part of the file name. There's a number like 3, and then there's a kind of a timing thing that they give you to know how fast the animation's running in the file name. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to access those. So here's how we do this. What we did before with files is we went like this. We went new, and we created a folder. Okay, so I'm going to do this. It's in Flappy v2 Brown, which sounds good, and it's I'm going to call it images. Okay, so that's good. And then if we have other ones, we can do other things too. Okay. Actually, to really get this to run, we want to get this in SRC, but right now this is fine where it is. It's not in the source file yet. It's like its own file amongst the the project resources. But that's what's going on. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to import then the pictures. Okay. What I want is I want all of these pictures to get into the project. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import them. Go like this. Say import. I'm going to import, and this might be closed, so you can open this up. I'm going to import this from the file system. That's exactly what I'm looking for, because this is a file system activity. I'm going to go like this, say next, and I'm going to browse for that file that I found. Okay, this is another one. All mine are in downloads. Let me see. I want to use the Star Wars robot right now, and this is my file. Okay, so those are those. There's 13 pictures in here, numbered 0 through 12, and I'm going to open this file, and it's going to let me select them. So I'm going to select them all, and I'm just going to pull them right into my images file. And there you go. Okay, so everything's in there. I got all these pictures. They're kind of a resource that I can use. Now, to use them, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to push this into SRC. So now, like if I close up SRC, it's not there, but the images are going to be in SRC. Okay, they're in a separate file to keep the clutter down, and that's kind of where we are. Okay. Okay. So looking at what we wrote in class, we have a thing called load pics, and what it's going to do is it's going to take those file names. Okay, the file names are actually really important. So it's going to take one part of a file name, which is fname1, which we think is going to be frame. Whoopee, I don't want to do that. It's going to be like this part of the frame. Okay, and then it's going to add 0 to that, and that makes sense because that's that. And then we're going to take the second part of the frame. Sorry. From here. And we're going to put that together and create a file name. Okay. And And then what we're going to do is we're going to try to open it up. Okay, so it's going to build this file name, going to do this, and then it's going to load it into a buffered image called before. The reason why I call it before is that there's a before image and an after image. You might want to scale this, make it bigger, smaller. We're going to do that kind of in class. But right now what I'm going to do is just get the thing in there and get it added. And what it'll do is it'll add it to the pick list. Okay, so let's try that. Okay. Okay, so what I need to do, so if I do that, okay, and I send the file names down in the constructor, okay, it should actually open this. So what I need to do is make a character that looks like this with these variables, okay? Actually, I'll go like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this in the frame. So I'm going to try to split screen us here so we can see what's going on. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to do some work in the frame, flap2 frame, and I'm going to make a constructor call to create a character, okay? So I'm going to make this one character like test character, okay? I mean, this is really the Flappy bird, so we'll just call it Flappy, okay? So I'm going to have this one character called Flappy, okay? No errors because the class is there. Okay, now what I have to do is when I get everything all together, what I want to do is I'm going to go Flappy. I have to call up the constructor and kind of instantiate the object. So new character. Okay, and then I have to send it all the stuff that it wants right here. Okay, so I'm going to put my character at 0, 0. That's those two things. Now I'm going to have to send it my file name. Okay, and my file name comes from up here. It comes from, not that. It comes from here. Okay, so I have to send it as a first part of the file name. I have to send it frame and like an underscore. Okay. So I'm going to send it to it. I'm going to go like this. But what I'm going to say, actually, it's in a file called images. So I'm going to say images / frame underscore. Okay. And that's part of it. Okay. I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to send it the second part of the frame, which is this part. It's underscore. I'm going to try to copy it, actually. Like that. Underscore delay GIF. So I'm going to go like this, and send it underscore delay GIF. Okay, and what else do I have to send it? I need to send it the number of all the pictures, okay? In mine, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I'm going to send it the number 13. Okay, and then I'm going to send it the scale. I think that's another thing it wants to know. What's the scale? And in this case, like right now, I'm going to send it 1.0. Okay, like if you want it to be, you know, if you wanted it to be like half scale, we don't have any code for this right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it like 1.0. Okay, for right now. Okay, another thing to notice is that my GIF is geared to work at 0.4 seconds per picture, and yours may be different. So make sure that your you know, like when you're copying the file names, make sure you're not using mine, you're using your own. Okay. Okay. So what's going to happen is there it is. Okay. And then what I want to do is so this is going to create me an object that's a Flappy object. It's going to create me a character object. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go this dot add, since this sits in a frame, I'm going to add Flappy. Okay, I'm going to add window listener. Okay, and I should get a picture. And let's see if we can do that. Okay, so if we run it, we think we might get it to work, but oh, it doesn't work. Okay, so we got to figure out what to do. Well, one of the things that needs to happen is the picture got loaded. It seems like it actually really does, but we never get to this paint component thing here, it looks like to me. It looks like it doesn't even bother to draw it and things like that. So we want to do a couple of things to have that happen, okay? One of the things I think that needs to happen is that you need to set a width and a height for the drawing space. I think if it has no place to go, it won't draw. So there are these two variables, C width and C height, that need to be set, okay? And these actually have to do with like the scale and things like that. But the thing about this is that you're not really sure what the picture, you know, where the picture is and like how big the picture is, that kind of thing. The picture sort of just comes in. So we can actually, once we run this load picture, this can be determined afterward by just basically looking at the first picture. So what we're going to do is we're going to go like this. Okay, we're going to it's going to look like this, and we want to find the size of the first picture. So we have everything in a pick list. Okay, and we're going to say dot get. This is from Code Academy. Okay, and then we're going to go dot get width. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to multiply that times the scale. So there's this variable called character scale, which we got from the thing. So right now it's like at 1, so it's going to be the same. But we're going to set up for you know, different scales. Okay, and then this is the same kind of thing here with height. So get height. Okay, and since they're scale, they're going to have the same kind of scale. So that's one thing we want to do. Another thing too, it might be a good idea right now to set up the character timer and get it working. So I'm going to do that. Okay. I think you don't have this, but I just sort of added this character timer because we want to have like different times for the frames and things like that to the animation to move at different times. So I'm going to go like this and say character timer. Okay. And it's going to create a timer for me, and you're going to have to do an organized imports, but again, this is sort of a swing timer. Okay, that has to get sort of set up, and then what we want to do down here is actually create, get the timer working. So I'm going to say character timer equals new timer, and I'll turn it to 50 and say this. Okay, and then I'm going to go character timer dot start. Okay, so now there's going to be two timers running. There's a timer over here with the game timer, and there's a timer over here with the character timer. Okay, and that what will allow us to do is we can change this number and have the pictures move at a slower rate than the actual animation, which is sort of good. But right now we'll just make it the same. Okay, now after we load all the pictures, right, what we want to do is we just basically want to get this paint component called. So one way to do that is to kind of like, once this thing's running, is to call a repaint. Let's see if that works for us. Okay. A C width and a C height, but we actually want to, we have to set them on the frame. The frame has to be set to these, because I think what's going on is that it's drawing like at a width and a height that's 0. Okay, that's the thing. So it's not drawing anything. So what we want to do is we have to go, once you get the C height and C width, we have to go this dot set size, and then we're going to go C width and C height. Okay, that looks good. And then we're going to also, we can set the location. You go this dot set location, and this means the location within the frame, because the J frame kind of moves around the frame only. So we'll send it to set xloc and yloc. Okay, and then we'll try to run it and see if this gets us going here. Okay, looks like we're gonna paint here. Let's give it a whirl. Okay, and ta-da! There it is. Okay, paint component's running. I have an error thing there. Okay, so what we want to do is then in the next video we're going to try to get it to actually load up all the pictures and be running. Okay. Okay, great.